During this pandemic, the leader is concentrating solely on coronavirus news and information. With the opening of the incredible NHS Nightingale Hospital in London, we're giving you a special report from inside on how it was built in record time and what it will do. Now, from the Evening Standard in London, I'm David Marsland, and this is the Leader Coronavirus Daily.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day number 10 of PE with... Unfortunately, Joe couldn't make it today, so I've stepped in. I'm Spider-Man, and I'm going to give you an amazing workout.
The United Kingdom is a country that creates heroes out of crises, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. This is where a YouTuber like Joe Wicks can dress as Spider-Man and inspire millions of our children to keep fit, even when they can't leave their homes.
More exercise, less rest, which means we're going to get even fitter and stronger and faster and healthier and stronger and happier.
Faced with real danger, we keep our sense of humour and protect what's valuable. Our families, our lives, our NHS.
You're heroes! NHS! NHS!
In our millions, at 8 p.m. for 2 Thursdays in a row, the UK has thrown open its windows, stood on its front porches, leaned over its balconies, and clapped. The applause was for the doctors, the nurses, the emergency workers who form the front line of the UK's fight against coronavirus, some of whom have already given their lives to save others. This country is being invaded by an invisible enemy, bringing a risk to life on a scale we haven't seen for generations. This is how we fight back, with one of the most incredible feats of medical and engineering construction ever undertaken on these shores, an enormous new hospital built in 9 days.
It is, without doubt, a spectacular and almost unbelievable feat of work in every sense. An example, if ever one was needed, of how the impossible could be made possible.
This is the story of the NHS Nightingale.
This is the way hospitals, in Florence Nightingale's times were. When you had challenging times and few staff, the nurse needed to see all the patients at once.
Evening Standard journalist John Dunn has been behind the scenes of the new hospital, where up to 4,000 patients will be cared for in what was the XL Centre in East London. He says the building doesn't just take its name from the famed Lady of the Lamp who treated soldiers in the Crimean War. Its very design is inspired by the ideas she had for medical ward layouts on the front line more than 160 years ago.
The hospitals she worked in, where you had this, huge wards, which matrons or nurses would patrol, and keeping an eye on all the patients and having good lines of sight. And the geography of the place the logistics of the place have been nailed down, no doubt with the help of the military.
I'm trying to look at the numbers on the pictures actually to see which beds there are, but it goes off so far, I can't see.
Matthew Riddle is a photographer who last went to the XL when it was used for the London Olympics in 2012.
When I was walking in, I was like, have I been here since the Olympics? And I thought, no, I haven't. The last time I was here was 8 years ago when the Olympics was on. And I was photographing weightlifting and I think it was kickboxing and various other sports. But yeah, I mean, that underlines how big the place is, that they could house all of those various Olympic sports. It's so big, it's so vast, and it's so impressive how organised and the attention to detail. On each bed station, they have a map of where everything has to be in each station throughout for the 4,000 beds, so that if anybody who's a member of staff has to move to another station, they know exactly where everything is, down to the syringes, the cotton buds, whatever. Everything's identical. And I thought that attention to detail really impressed me.
There are rows and rows of beds surrounded by medical equipment with space for ventilators. Staff move swiftly through the aisles, brought in from other hospitals, student nurses, doctors who had retired but have now returned to help colleagues facing overwhelming odds.
the numbers are scary numbers, but if I tell you that to run one ward, including all of our ancillary staff who are just as important to us, without our cleaners and our admin staff, we can't open. We need 200 members of staff.
That's the hospital's Chief Operating Officer, Natalie Forrest. There are more than 80 wards. That means more than 16,000 staff will be needed. The scale is enormous, but so is the problem.
Well, I think having spoken to the clinicians down there, particularly Dr. Alan McGlenn, who's the medical director, that we're expecting intensive care units across London to come under severe pressure imminently.
John Dunn says doctors fear they'll hit that 4,000 capacity very soon.
This hospital, the Nightingale, won't be taking patients in the traditional sense, in that people won't be brought in off the street. The patients there will be people who have been taken to hospital, perhaps put on a ventilator, and then the capacity of the traditional hospital is exceeded, and therefore people have to be farmed out to the Nightingale, the overspill.
And none of this existed just 9 days ago.
With the help of the military and with NHS clinicians, we will make sure that we have the capacity that we need so that everyone can get the support they need.
When Health Secretary Matt Hancock announced the plans, there was some scepticism it could be completed so quickly. China had, of course, done something similar in 7 days, but that's a different country. Nevertheless, contractors were called in to do their duty and were honoured by Prince Charles during his speech to open the hospital, something he had to do virtually from Birk Hall in Scotland as he recovers from the infection.
On behalf of the nation, I want to say a very big thank you to the planners, the builders, the armed forces, the generous companies and organisations which have donated equipment and services, and all the support staff who have made this possible. To convert one of the largest national conference centres into a field hospital, starting with 500 beds, and with a potential of 4,000, is quite frankly incredible.
Now it's over to the medical staff. Dr. Alan McGlennon is the Nightingale's medical director.
So they will come to us already on a ventilator and transferred in here, and we will take care of them until their course of ventilation is finished, and we can put them into a step-down facility. Now, that is the model at the moment, and it takes about 100 clinicians, 10 days to make sure that we've got a very detailed model for this disease. So we can, when the disease burden changes for London, we can re-look at our model, because this facility is flexible, as you can see, but we'd have to do that in an ordered manner.
There's quite a long walk from the entrance to the actual ward, so you're going down, in effect, like a shopping mall, really, because there's restaurants either side, but they're all closed, obviously. And there was army and tradespeople and people being trained, and NHS staff, builders, plasterers, joiners, technicians, electricians.
Matthew Riddle says with some work on the building still going on, it's going to be an unusual working space for doctors and patients, at least in the first few days. But he says he knows personally that all the medical staff fighting this disease have a dedication and a determination that should inspire us all.
My brother-in-law and my sister-in-law are both frontline NHS workers in Huddersfield. And I wrote to them last night on WhatsApp group that we've got and just said, guys, how are you? Because I've just been to the Nightingale and it's kind of made it real to me. Jane came back. She's a matron. She's got a team of 35 who normally looks after pre-med. And last week she was told, no, you're an ICU unit now. And, she said, we feel like lambs to the slaughter. We're being just put up front. And it was being there yesterday, I think, that made me realise, wow, what these people are doing for us to protect us is outstanding. And they should be applauded from the hill.
And that's the Leader Coronavirus Daily. We'll have more special reports along with news, analysis and commentary every weekday at 4 p.m. as this coronavirus pandemic continues. Please do subscribe through your podcast provider to make sure you don't miss out.